Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. In this video we're gonna bring this motorcycle to scrapyard to check its real weight. Okay. We're gonna cover some specifications, 95 horsepower and 17 Nm of torque. We're gonna talk about pros and cons, a considerable delay in upshifting, which has definitely influenced my acceleration. And the most important part, we're gonna measure acceleration with this little tiny device, which we call Dragy. If you want to see that and even more, then this video is for you. I'll hop on the bike and let's go. And a quick mention of specifications. The first thing I want to talk about is this beautiful inline 3-cylinder liquid-cooled engine, which puts out 95 horsepower and 17 Nm of torque at 8,250 RPM. CFMOTO claims that this engine is super light and the weight of it is only 55 kilograms. And as I like to say, once you go hard, you need to make sure that your brakes are good. So this CFMOTO has 300mm dual-sided disc with 4-piston J-joint caliper. I was saying that sometimes it's really hard to do stoppies, but it's not because of the brakes, guys. I feel like it's because of the tires. Those tires could be a little bit better, in my opinion. Stoppie. Yeah, we did a stoppie. And from behind we have 240mm single disc with 1-piston J-joint caliper. I don't really know whether you can see it or not, but over here I can definitely see some rust, which I don't really like. And over here on the exhaust pipe there's still some rust as well. So yeah, this bike is brand new. It's less than 2 weeks old. We have 1,000 kilometers on it. And I don't really like that I see that rust. Speaking about other things, I need to mention this time we have this special frame. The frame is made of chrome molybdenum steel alloy. This material is often used on KTMs, let's say KTM Duke 390, 790, 890 and Super Duke. This material is just as heavy as steel, however it's more resilient, which means that you need less of it, and this is the way CFMOTO saves its weight. This bike weighs at 195 kilograms wet and ready to go, according to CFMOTO. Today we're gonna bring this bike to scrapyard and we're gonna check whether their claim is legit or not. We have full adjustable front fork, and from behind we have a monoshock which has preload and rebound adjustability. We have 810mm seat height. Once I'm sitting on this bike, I'm pretty much very leaned over, so I have a whole bunch of control over this machine. However, from time to time my wrist can get a little bit tired. Speaking about technology, I need to mention we have traction control, which is adjustable. So we have level 1, level 2, and you can also turn it off. Level 1 would be more intrusive than level 2. Yeah, just now as I was doing my wheelie, traction control stopped me right in the middle of my wheelie, but it doesn't stop me from initiating the wheelie, which is pretty cool. One of the coolest features of this bike is that you can see how cold or warm your tires are, which I truly appreciate. SR675 doesn't have ride-by-wire. We have this conventional cable throttle, and actually there is one thing I don't like. Once you twist your throttle, this initial early stage is a little bit loose, so there is a little tiny play in the throttle. And I would say that the throttle is very responsive and precise, but this very early stage could be a little bit better, I would say. We have 15-liter tank capacity, we have LED headlights and taillights. One more thing to mention is that the fuel consumption, once I'm riding in the city, is pretty crazy. It's like 7 liters. Personally, I think that this motorcycle is very beautiful. In person, looks absolutely amazing. But I need to mention that the first time I saw it, I was a little bit frustrated because this plastic somehow felt a little bit cheap. It doesn't look as expensive as on some other motorcycles from this class. And one more tiny thing is that this fuel tank is extremely susceptible to scratches, so you have to pay attention to it as well. And probably the most unique part of this design are those 2 air pockets. From afar, they look absolutely incredible. However, once you get closer, you understand that they're actually made of cheap plastic. I'll hop on the bike and let's keep on riding. According to CFMOTO, the carb weight of this machine is supposed to be 195 kilograms, but I decided to check it out myself because based on my experience, sometimes those motorcycles, they might be a little bit heavier than what the manufacturer claims. So we're about to find out. Currently I have pretty much the full tank of gas, maybe 1 or 2 liters less, but we're going to account for it. Dizimini, 是不是? Okay. All right. Ah? 这个不是刚上市吗？这个车？对，这是最新的。200公斤。400，我可以看吗？200公斤。It's 200 kilograms. I don't have much. I have my license plate. I have this tiny little Dragy. I also have this mount for the phone. And let me show you. I have like pretty much full gas tank, but still there's some space, so I feel like we can make it even heavier than that. So 200 kilograms, I mean, it's not as nice as I expected it to be. I'll be honest with you, I did expect this machine to be a little bit lighter than that. When you ride it, it feels very light. Actually, it feels lighter than 195. The bike isn't clean, so we have some dirt on it. And that scrapyard is pretty dirty as well, so as I was getting in, probably some mud was on the tires. But I don't feel like it was 5 kg dirty, if you know what I'm saying. My best acceleration according to Dragy was 3.57 seconds, which is a very good result. When I was measuring this acceleration, it was even faster. Based on my assessment, it was 3.45 or something, which is really fast. But unfortunately, Dragy considers this result invalid because there was a tiny slope, which is like a little bit more than 1 degree. But in my books, it's pretty good anyway. And my best valid result was 3.69 seconds. But then, as I was measuring this acceleration by myself, the way I used to do, from time to time my acceleration can be worse, and from time to time my acceleration could be better, which is quite strange. So I would say that Dragy and I, we're pretty much on the same page in terms of acceleration. Alright, 0 to 100 in 3.56 seconds. And apparently Dragy again thinks that something is wrong with this freaking acceleration. Dude, what the hell? Alright guys, so this was my best acceleration. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour was 3.52 seconds. Somehow Dragy still thinks that it wasn't valid, and I'm kind of a little bit pissed because of that. Just now I checked ahead of time and there was no freaking slope whatsoever. Before, Dragy was telling me that this place is cool, and right now somehow it tells me that something's a little bit out of whack. And the funny fact is, last time I was measuring acceleration, I was measuring at the same place, and Dragy was verifying my results. This time, somehow, Dragy tells me that something was a little bit out of whack. You know what? The tank isn't even, as you can see, so maybe the placement plays a role. The fastest acceleration I found online to the date was 3.3 seconds, but I'll tell you one little thing, guys. I have screen recorded this acceleration, and I have checked it the way I was doing before with the timer, and this acceleration was 3.57 seconds with my measurement, which is just the same or even slower than my acceleration. But they were measuring it with a special device, not Dragy, but something else. And the rider was lighter than me, like 25, if not 30 kilograms lighter than me. So I feel like their result was better indeed. And those riders, they're way more professional. Of course, I need to compare this motorcycle to other motorcycles. I've already talked about the Aprilia RS660. And you told me that my assessment wasn't fair because of the power mode and things like that. Guys, I'll be honest, I tried to launch this bike in every single mode possible, and my best acceleration was 4.4 seconds, which isn't too good. And I'll go one step further, guys. Actually, I was trying to find the best acceleration online, and the average acceleration from Aprilia 660 was like 5 seconds. So if you know where I can find the best acceleration, which would be like 3.5 seconds, please let me know. I'm very curious. I'm not joking. I really want to see that video. Technology-wise, this is just the same motorcycle as VOOM 500, but VOOM 500, at least higher configuration, had a steering damper, and if you want to install a steering damper on this bike, you have to pay some extra. Other than that, guys, I would not lie. The first time I saw this bike, I was a little bit disappointed because all that plastic on fairings didn't look too expensive to me. It felt a little bit cheap, and I don't want to say that this bike is cheap because actually, as I ride this machine, there's literally zero vibrations. The bike feels very, very well built. So this motorcycle is pretty good in terms of quality, I would say, but the plastic is still not as expensive as I wish it to be. It feels a little bit too hollow, if you know what I'm saying. It feels a little bit too cheap. Yeah, in lack of a better term, I would just use cheap. The design of this bike is definitely something I like. Because it's unique, it doesn't try to copy anybody. And I would say that this bike looks even better at night, especially this silver part. I have done my research, and the best top speed that I have found was 231 kilometers per hour. The more I ride this motorcycle, the more I like it. The only tiny little thing I need to mention is that from time to time, when I go really hard, let's say when I measure 0 to 100 kilometers per hour acceleration, and I try to upshift without the clutch using quick shifter, it happened to me twice. The quick shifter did not work out as well as I wanted it to work, so there was a substantial delay, which have compromised my acceleration. Initially, I was saying that the ergonomics is way too aggressive, but after the first 1,000 kilometers, I don't think so. Actually, I would tell you that this ergonomics is pretty pleasant, and if you're not being stuck in a traffic jam, you don't feel tired, to be honest. So my wrists, they just got accustomed to this, leaned over position, and right now I just enjoy it. I enjoy it, and if you ride, let's say, 1-2 hours, I feel like you'll not be tired. So ergonomics is a big plus for me right now. As a minus, I need to mention that this bike consumes fuel like crazy. My average fuel consumption is, 7.7 liters. Let me check. Okay, right now it shows me 5.1, 4.8, but if I ride in the city, it's always like 7 plus. So still, I would say that you can get at about 200 kilometers for a tank. And one more honorable mention is that we have foldable mirrors. So there's a little traffic jam ahead, and I'll show you what we can do. You see, it's pretty narrow here, but because we have those foldable mirrors, you can still maneuver around. For example, this little tiny gap is almost non-existent, but because of those foldable mirrors, we can still squeeze through. Yeah, you see, we don't have to freaking wait like a car. Ooh, I would not do that on a heavier motorcycle like SRK 800 or, I don't know, SRK 91. So that's pretty cool. Shit, I just want to maneuver around and swerve around all the freaking time. This bike is pushing you, you know, this aggressive ergonomics just doesn't want you to relax. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, and those bumps, I don't really like those bumps, but they don't feel too bad on this motorcycle. We have fully adjustable suspension, which means that we can still make it pretty soft. But it's well adjusted for a city. It feels pretty good. I really like that the bike sticks to the ground. Alright, there are some bumps, but asphalt, no problem. Suspension is great, ergonomics is cool, acceleration is great and awesome. It's really easy to launch the bike. If there's something I wish this bike to have, I would say that technology-wise, I do miss ABS mode, and this is something I expected to have on this motorcycle. CFMOTO claimed before that SR675 is going to have ABS modes, and I was pretty frustrated knowing that unfortunately this motorcycle would not have anything like that. And some people might not like that we don't have power modes, but given that we don't have ride-by-wire, power modes would not be too different. So this is not something I miss. The only thing I miss on this motorcycle is the red zone, and the red zone is very short. Obviously you can get there, but it starts at about 10,000 RPM, and the peak RPMs are at about 12,000 RPM. So you can stay there for only 2,000 RPM. So when you ride, once you're there, you're basically revving up the engine to its max, and you have to upshift. Hey guys, this was my humble review. Please let me know what you think about this motorcycle in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about my accelerations, what you think about Dragy, what you think about the curb weight. I'll be waiting for your comments, as always. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this bike is absolutely awesome. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and as always, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next videos. Bye everybody. Take care.